Hey everyone, this is Miss Petey from the box. I was just stopping by to tell you about sketchbooks and how to make a really simple one to keep all of your drawing challenges in or to practice your technical drawing, whatever you're working on right now. But it's a great way to have your own creation space. So to start with, we have, I actually have a mat board underneath here to use the X-Acto knife on. If you are using an X-Acto knife to trim up your pages here at the end, you want to make sure you have something under it so it doesn't cut your table. You're going to need a tack, a ruler, a pencil, regular copy paper, and a cover paper. This copy paper is 8.5 by 11. The cover paper is a little bit bigger, but as you'll see in the video, the copy paper ends up getting trimmed up at the end, so it's okay. To start with, if you don't have a tack or any of these supplies, remember anything that is close that you can substitute works great. Don't not do it just because you don't think you have the right supplies. Be creative. We're going to start with getting your paper. And you're going to take your paper and you're going to fold it in half. Make sure that you're holding the tops, moving your thumbs toward the bottom, and then pushing across. And you're going to fold 10 sheets. This gives you roughly 20 pages to work with. But you want to just keep folding it and creasing. If you want to make sure your crease is really smooth, you're going to take a pencil and go over them. And you're going to go ahead and repeat this 10 times. If I want more, I can always connect my sketchbook pages. This is a simple sketchbook, so it's not going to be stitched like our advanced sketchbook is. But it's a lot quicker to make, and if you just do like everyday drawing and you want a place to put it, you don't necessarily keep them and love them forever, then this is a great place to put them. Alright, now that I have my pages folded, I'm going to go ahead and open them up and stick them seam to seam on the inside. The reason we can't just keep them laying on top of each other is because we want to make sure that our book is stapled together right on the crease, right on the bind. And so we're going to go ahead and take our sheets, stack them together, and then make sure that they're all even. So it's just like a little book part. Then we're going to open it in the center. And the reason we don't crease our pages all together and just fold them in one large batch, like if we were to fold them all like this, 10 pages, they have a tendency not to crease very well and keep the crease tight. So you really want to make sure that you crease them separately. We're going to go ahead, and our staples, I've already measured them, are about 1/2 inch. So you're going to take your ruler. If yours are not 1/2 inch, make sure you double check and measure what length or width your staplers are. Mine are just standard staplers, so I'm sure yours is probably about the same. I'm going to place one here at the top. And I'm just going to make 2 dots that are about 1/2 inch. One again at the bottom. And I don't make it right on the bottom. If you notice, I came in 1/2 inch first. You want to go in 1/2 inch and then make your 2 dots. And then in the center here, you want to create another one for your third. And then you're going to take your tack that you have, and you're going to make sure that your pages are all creased together. And making sure your finger is not behind the tack, there's a key there. You're going to stick the pin through. Please be careful. Keep your fingers on either side of the hole, and then as you can see, you push through between them. If you push through on your finger, you're going to know, trust me. Been there, done that. And you're just going to wiggle your push pin through. If you don't have a push pin, don't panic. A needle will work. You guys have tons of objects. I'm sure you know how to substitute for this, but you just need to make a tiny puncture right there in your paper. Super easy, right? Then the next part of this is you're going to go ahead, and I have a printed paper for my cover. If you don't have a printed paper, regular paper works. You don't necessarily need a cover for these sketchbooks, but if you want one to make them more personalized, you can. So this is going to be my cover, and I'm going to fold it same way I did all my other pages. Crease it with my thumbs. I double crease mine with my pen or tool. If you wanted to do this part earlier, you can. I just totally spaced my paper. So just making sure that those holes are in the same spot. I'm just going to push through that back paper. If it's decorative paper, I would do this part separately just because some index card is a little bit thicker and harder to punch a hole through. So it might take a little bit longer. So we have our holes through all of it. Then we're going to take our staple and we're going to stick our staple from the back side. Sorry, I forgot which side I was on. And you're going to push it through the holes that you made with your tack. And after you push them through, you're going to push down. You can see this. I have my staple through. Be careful not to poke yourself, but you're going to take, and for me, I think it's just easier to use a marker because then my fingers aren't even close to it, and bend in the staples so that they're right there in the center. Same with the next one. Keeping the staple on the back side, we're going to find our holes that we already created and work the staple through and then push it down. Alright, once you've gotten all 3 staples in and you've bent down the prongs on the other side so that they're holding it together, you can go ahead and fold up your sketchbook. You'll notice that there's a tiny bit of a place where the paper walks right here. You can see a little bit of the paper because this doesn't cover it all the way. If you're doing a sketchbook that you have a larger outside cover, this little bit of paper right here isn't going to be a problem for you. If you're like me, those never really bother me. I don't really care because later on I'll combine this into a larger book full of drawings and I'll stitch them all together. But if you are one of my many students who like things to be just so, I completely hear you. Your ruler, if you take it and you put it right up here on the edge of your sketchbook, you can take a straight edge if you have an X-Acto at home, and you can go right along the ruler slowly. Don't go crazy and cut fingers. Remember, it's very, very sharp. And just get rid of that little bit of paper fringe that's driving you nuts, and you'll have a perfectly shaped sketchbook. But remember, sometimes when we start making things just so, it can be intimidating to draw in. So don't be afraid. If your sketchbook isn't 100% factory looking, then that's a great thing. That's why we make things handmade as opposed to always buying everything. So that's your first simple sketchbook, one that has the 3 in the back. There's an even simpler sketchbook that I'm going to show you here in a second, and it starts the exact same way. Let me get the paper for it. So this next sketchbook that I'm going to show you is by far the simplest way to create any sketchbook that you need to draw in, because drawing is not a matter of what you put it in and what you do it on. It's just a matter of doing it. So this last sketchbook is literally the simplest way to create a sketchbook. I have my sheets. They're already folded just like before. Stacked them together. Take my stapler. Put my stapler right on the edge and staple through all 10 sheets. Remember, my sheets are already together, so it's just stapling that closed. The only thing I don't like about this book, because this is by far the easiest way just to make a creation space, and sketchbooks are such personal preference type items that I just don't like the gap, because this literally makes it so there's a gutter in your book. You can't really bend your pages all the way flat, which is okay if you stapled it just a tiny bit. If you staple it too far in, you're going to have like a fourth of your page taken up. So make sure that you staple it right on the edge so you have that full turn. But like this sketchbook, it's a little bit easier in the fact that you can lay it flat. So again, totally up to you as to how you want your sketchbook to look. But these are 2 really simple sketchbook ideas. later on I'll be posting some more advanced stitching sketchbook ideas for those of you who like to do watercolor or into charcoals and that kind of thing. It's a way to put together sketchbooks of all kinds of different pages and be able to stitch together drawing sets that you've done like this one right here. Thanks. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.